Hey, it's Victory Monday, everybody. Congratulations to all of those that celebrate. Certainly not the Titans for the second straight time that they've played the Texans. They lose this season. They sweep the series. Again, I put out a whole bunch of stats on how dominant the Texans have been on the Titans in the last, handful of games. So shout out to all y'all joining us here on Kicking It with Kunkel. We went in the locker room today, and the boys were buzzing in the locker room. A very loud, jubilant, fun locker room today. Got great interviews with Kamari Lassiter, Henry Toto, and Tim Settle. Tim Settle talking his smack today, made a prediction. Henry Toto said he'll die for his teammates on the field, and Kamari Lassiter talking about, as well as the other guys, what it takes to be the best defense in the league. The fact they don't talk about it, but what really goes into that is, I think, critical. And especially is also, for those of you that think that yesterday, just because it was a win, it's perfect, and therefore, all you want to do is win, and that's all that matters. How dare you be critical? How dare you grade? How dare you break down the tape and the film and the actual production that went on the film? Wait until you see what Kamari Lassiter had to say about the production yesterday and what they did today in the meetings. Shout out to Socorro for sponsoring Kicking It with Kunkel. As always, elite, top shelf tequila, additive free, and it is 100% blue agave. I have sent out some free bottles to those that get involved in the super chat, so make sure you do so. They got a Reposado, a Blanco, and a Nejo. Hit up the super chat. Be heard, y'all. Get involved in the show. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video, as well as comment on the video as well. I appreciate all of you that do that. I appreciate everybody that gets involved, trying to get in the middle here for all the vertical streamers on YouTube as well. If you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on X, shout out to you. I appreciate that. But can you do me a favor? Can you just head on over to YouTube and do it that way? It's a lot better for me, and I appreciate that as well. But if not, then okay, I'll take the viewership wherever I can get it. So get involved. Follow me on all the social media as well. But yesterday, a win was a win. I think that's the most important takeaway of the game yesterday against the Titans. Once again, the defense proves that they are the best defense in the NFL. The Rams are second best right now. The Rams actually have a damn good offense to go along with it, which makes them a contender for the Super Bowl, especially after what they did against the Seahawks. And in week one, the Texans were this close to beating the Rams. So again, it's the same old narrative for the Texans, unfortunately. Yes, the fortunate news is they got the win. The bad news is the offense continues to lag behind. Titans have a good defensive front, but they are not a good defensive team. And the Texans really struggle top to bottom with a good defensive front, no matter what they're trying to do offensively, whether it's the run game, the pass game, whatever it might be. And then, of course, you add on the fact that they have the injuries right now. It's a little hard for these guys to get this thing going. And it looks like, sadly enough, Jalen Petrie, C.J. Stroud won't play on Thursday. That's the way it's trending because both guys still in concussion protocol. Both guys got to practice at least 2 days before getting back on the field in a game day situation. So looks like C.J. Stroud out. Looks like Jalen Petrie out. Ed Ingram, it sounds like he might play on Thursday, which would be great for the offensive line. And then Kaimi Fairbairn looks like he will play on Thursday as well. All right, so this was the offensive line versus the Titans. I thought this was the route that they would go, assuming – I thought actually Ed Ingram had a chance to play, but he obviously did not play. Titus Howard at right guard, Trent Brown at right tackle. It worked out pretty well for them. It wasn't amazing, but it was certainly good enough. And so I assume this is where they're going to be going forward if Ed Ingram is not able to return. If Ed Ingram is able to return, then you take Titus Howard, put him at right tackle, put Ed back at right guard. I think what's lost in this is the willingness of Titus Howard to move from tackle to tackle, guard to guard, and do the damn thing for the team and do whatever the team needs him to do. Because years ago, we talked about it a couple times here on Kicking It with Kunkel. He was not willing to do that. Like, he was a tackle. He wanted to play tackle. That's how he viewed himself. He refused, and at least if he did it, he did it reluctantly, went to guard. But he's now changed his mindset, and I had him on the show in a conversation you can search for after this show on Kicking It with Kunkel. Just type in Titus Howard on the channel, and you'll be able to find that because it was pretty dang good. So let's look at yesterday's. Let's look at the defense first, because I want to really focus on the defense and then just how dominant they've been this NFL season. Once again, they're setting kind of like great bad records right now in the NFL. They have the best scoring defense, the best yardage allowed, and yet are at 500. It's like let me see what the stat is here. It's one of those stats you're like, of course, not the idea that we want to have. So they have allowed only 163 points in 10 games. It's the fewest points allowed by any team with 5 or more losses through 10 games since the 2003 Buccaneers. Less than ideal situation for this team to be in, but back to 500, you can at least now start, stacking some wins and getting where you want to be. And we said, let's get this out of here for a second. We said coming into the season, we wanted to compete with the Ravens and Chiefs. Well, all 3 teams, Ravens, Chiefs, and Texans, are all 5-5. Not exactly what we thought that record would be if we were the same record as them, but nonetheless, here we are. Ravens still favored to win their division because that's how bad the division is, and that's how banged up the Ravens were when the Texans ran into them. So let's take a look at the offense. You know how I like to do it here. Look at the plays, look at the first downs gained, and then, of course, the result of the drive. Opening drive of the game was fantastic. 15 plays, 56 yards, 4 first downs, and then they give it up on a 4th and 1. They are sacked for an 11-yard loss. I don't understand the coaching decision to go for it on 4th down. You have a bad offense. You struggle to get inside the red zone. You struggle even more once you get inside the red zone. You hit the upright on the first field goal attempt. Matthew Wright was no good. You got a very lucky, pretty bad call. I don't think it was a very good call against the Titans that kept that drive alive. And you squandered the opportunity. Just take the points, get the hell back to the sideline, get your defense back on the field. And I tweeted this during the game. I just think coaching decisions like that have put this team in a bad situation more times than not. They've done this a couple times, whether it's bad play calling down on the goal line, whether it's starting City So last week, and then this again. I just don't understand why you're squandering points with an offense that is struggling all year to get points. They are not a good offense. This is where we are, unfortunately. You're going against a bad defensive team, a good defensive front. I understand. But you take those points. You take the points every single time, in my mind, because you don't have the play bag. Like, Nick Caley doesn't know how to call plays inside the red zone. He certainly doesn't know how to call plays at the 1-yard line. And the offense isn't able to punch it in and get the job done. So I just take the points, get off the field, be thankful and grateful that you got a second opportunity at the end zone. And because of that penalty, you can now kick an extra point worth of a field goal, okay? After that, the offense was pretty dormant outside of their 3rd drive, 11 plays, 48 yards, 4 first downs, but unfortunately, it ended in a punt. You would probably think if you had Kaimi Fairbairn in that situation on the Titans 38 that you would get the 3 points there, or at least the attempt at the 3 points. And then offense pretty bad. 3 and out, end of half, don't count that. Coming out of the locker room, great first drive, 7 plays, 65 yards, 4 first downs, maintaining the drive, then a touchdown, field goal, punt, field goal. So the offense did what they needed to do down the stretch. I think we can all agree that if they want to play amongst the big boys, that's not good enough. Now the defense, I said I was going to do defense first. I lied. The defense, I mean, just look how freaking good the defense was. Yes, at the end of the game, you would like to have a better drive defensively than 11 plays, 77 yards, giving up net yards 95, and you give up the touchdown. I mean, it's kind of that same old story, bend, don't break, and dominate all game long, and then all of a sudden, on your final possession, you're not able to get the job done. They were able to do it against the Jaguars when Sheldon Rankins got the scoop and score to win the game, or to seal the game, but just not able to do it. They were great on 3rd down. They were good defensively on 3rd down, 6 of 15, 40%. And then on 3rd down offensively, 4 of 13, 31%. But again, in the red zone, the defense has to be a little bit better, and the offense has to be a whole lot better. So anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on yesterday's game. I want to talk about going forward a little bit more, but what some of the things you can take away from that game, because we're getting to the point where we're starting to look at the schedule. We're getting to the point where it matters who you're playing and where you are in the standings. And this short, like the Titans game, couldn't have come at a better time. A short week, or a bad team, banged up, no CJ Stroud, and now unfortunately the Bills couldn't come in here at a worse time. Short week, no C.J. Stroud, no Jalen Petrie, and you take on Josh Allen and the Bills. And don't forget, though, Josh Allen had his worst game of his career maybe last year here in Houston as well. I actually tweeted those stats out. I think I have them. Let's see if I can find them. They're on my X account somewhere. I'll find them for you. Sweat not. Here they are. I'm gonna post them. He was 9 of 30, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, a sack, and a QB rating of 59.7. Perhaps someone in the chat can let me know if that's his worst QB rating of all time. But those were his stats last year against the Texans. So that defense obviously knew how to handle him last year. Hopefully that can carry into this year. I will not bet on the fact that he has his second worst or worst again game of his career against the Texans, but maybe. Let's hope. They're on a short week too. So anyway, that's where we stand right now. And then obviously the schedule is very difficult. Going to the Colts, going to the Chiefs. Chiefs don't look unbeatable, but on a Sunday night at Arrowhead, Chiefs are going to be ready to roll. Like, they're just going to be ready to go. Cardinals suck. Jacoby Brissett had himself a damn game, though. Raiders suck. Chargers, that could be a cakewalk with their bad offensive line. And then the Colts might rest players in the last game of the week. So we're looking at a possibility of 6, 7, 8, 9 wins. 9 wins. Too bad the over-under was 9.5, and yours truly took the over 9.5 on several large bets. Neither here nor there. Here are the standings. As of now, the Texans are in the playoffs, and they win the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. That's going to be usurped by that head-to-head matchup in a couple weeks. So whoever wins that will own the tiebreaker. The Chiefs win the tiebreaker over the Ravens, and then the Texans, they own the tiebreaker over Baltimore because Baltimore, they beat their ass in Balti. But that probably won't matter because the Baltimore Ravens are going to get in the playoffs by winning their division. Okay, so let's get inside the locker room. Let's talk to some of these guys because I'm telling you, it was a very electric locker room today. A lot of noise in the background while Henry was talking. And one of the things that I talked to Kamari Lassiter about, Henry To'o, as well as Tim Settle, is what makes this defense so good. We all know they have the talent, so that's not really what we're getting at here, but their willingness to sacrifice for each other, their willingness to play within the system, which is why C.J. Gardner-Johnson was just not a fit here in Houston because he wanted to play for himself. He wanted to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. He did not play within the system at all. And when that happens and you leave out your guys in the secondary to dry, that's why you're losing games. And there's a chance they lose the first 3 games. There's a chance they win one of those 3 games without errors, mental errors from C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So what we thought was a great signing ended up being a real bite in the ass because of CJ's lack of discipline and desire to actually help the team and play within the system. But their desire to sacrifice for each other, love each other, and as Henry said, dies on the field with each other, that's what makes this team so damn good defensively. Here's my conversation with Henry today.
I mean, like, we try not to look at it honestly, but I think it's just the way we work, the way we practice, and like the how much we gel together, like just the conversations we have and the bond that we create with each other. Like when you're able to go out with a group of guys that you love and you're able to go out and die for them, like that's what makes you a good team, a good defense. So it can point to a lot of things. Our coaches do a great job, but we try not to focus on that kind of stuff.
We talk a lot about, willing to die for the guy next to you on the field. Like, where does that get instilled? When does that type of love happen on a team?
We start that early, like super early. When we first, like whenever new guys come in during OTAs, during OTAs, and like we kind of just set that foundation. Our leaders do a great job of setting that foundation of what kind of team we are, what kind of team we're gonna be, and that starts way back in the February days, March days when everybody's coming in from OTAs.
Is that like Greenbrier type stuff? Do you grow in those moments?
100%. When we're gone and away during those camp moments, like we build that bond, that relationship with each other, that we're able to kind of just get to know each other a little bit more. And I think the more you know your teammates, the more we spend time together, the more you love them. You grow with them. So those trips are definitely great for us.
You talk about facing an offense like the
Man, like that's the thing I love most about this team and covering these guys is they're all great dudes. They're great to talk to, and all great teams. Whether it's your marriage or friendship, any sport, whatever unit it might be on a defensive or on a football team. when you have sacrificial love, that's when things thrive. Because if everyone out there is willing to do anything for the other guy, that means you have 10 dudes on defense willing to do whatever it takes for that one guy. That means you have 10 guys playing for one guy all the way around versus you playing for yourself, no one playing for you. That means you have one guy playing for you, and that is yourself. When you play in this style of defense, you have 10 guys willing to do what it takes for you to succeed versus just one. And I think it's just awesome to listen to these guys kind of talk about it. And it's not like this is the talking points. They all believe this through this. They all have the same mindset through all the conversations that I had today with them.
Yeah, I mean, we all know who their leader is, Josh Allen. Like, we played them last year, and they're a great team. They're still a great team. It's definitely hard preparing for a team like that. It's definitely, they have so many weapons. You know, they have a great running back. Their tight ends are really good in the pass game. So it's gonna be a huge challenge for us. You know, being able to prepare for them and prepare for all the tricks and gimmicks they have, it's gonna be huge for us.
You hear how loud it is in the background? I turn down that audio in the background.
One player chooses the way.
That's the defensive side of the ball.
It just kind of goes back to the same message we have every week. Everybody do your job. Like, everybody has a specific job to do. The rush, the coverage, who has the quarterback, who's covering, you know, it kind of all ties in together. So being able to feed off of each other, like, that's going to be the huge part this week, to be able to contain it.
You guys are now back to 500. Is that a refresh start? Does that mean anything to y'all to be back there?
I mean, not really. Like, we just take it day by day, game by game. It's one game at a time. We know it's a one-game season every time. We're trying to go 1-0. I think that record kind of, it doesn't really mean anything. We try to just win the week every single week.
You watching the standings yet?
No. We just trying to win. Trying to get as much wins as we can.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, brother.
Henry's always a good dude to talk to. So, yeah, that sacrificial love, that sacrificial desire on this defense, obviously the ability and the talent that they have shines through. But, like, C.J. Gardner-Johnson isn't like a bad physical player, but he doesn't have the mentality to play in a defense where you sacrifice for one another and you do what you're told to do. No matter what that means for you, you need to be in your position, taking care of your job. As everyone says, coach speak, you do your 111. You do your one job out of the 11 guys on the field. Let's get to Tim Settle talking about today. We're talking about the game on Sunday as well as going to Thursday.
A lot of selflessness. Everybody do their job, you know. If you look at the stats, you don't see a whole bunch of guys with 10 tackles. Everybody's in the mix. Everybody's doing their job. Everybody do their 111. And, you know, they do it at a high level. We fly around, we hit, we're physical, we have fun, and you better get up, you're going to get hit again. So that's just the aroma that we carry with us, and that's just how we play defense here.
People talk about Thursday night and the grind and what it does to your body, but there's a flip side of that. Obviously, nation's watching. It's a big game. What are your thoughts on being in this game?
Prime time, you know, prime time. It's time to make a play. And that's prime time games. Nothing else changed. You know, this the day of the week, and just the time of the game. Still a game. You know, obviously we have a higher audience this week, but it's all about just going in here and coming out 1-0.
Talk about the mindset of your guys' defense of not wanting to go out there 10 tackles and just be a me guy. Like, where does that stem from? Who sets that tone?
I feel like it just goes with the standard. You know, when you're flying around and you're moving around, it's like, shoot, whoever gets there first, you know, you better move before I hit everybody. I mean, it's kind of like, shoot, it's competitive, man. We all trying to make play. We're all trying to make a play. And you can tell we're all swimming to the ball. We all want the ball. We're trying to hit the ball we can. We're trying to force the turnovers. Everybody has the same mindset. Everybody has something to them. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win on defense.
How difficult is it to do what you've done, 3 quarters, 4 quarters into the last game, and know you have to do it one more time and finish it?
We didn't been in every situation this year. We didn't been in games where we've been down. We've been in games where we've been tied. We didn't been in games where we've been up. And it's all about how you finish, you know. And I feel like we didn't been in every situation where the outcome wasn't in our favor. So when you're in another situation and you already had the outcome that didn't work in your way, it's kind of, you already been there, you already done it. So it's easier to see and it's easier to adjust. And I feel like it causes us to strain a little more, because that's what it takes in those situations, a little more strain and just to try to close out the game. That's what it's all about.
Is there something added because most of the guys you're out there with, you've been out there with, not just all year, but multiple years?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, we're like everything is chemistry. We are chemistry. Like we talk and we talk one side. If it's not the whole line, we'll talk on the side. If one side's on the same like page, everything works out. You know, the system is made like that, and the system is made for us to play as one. So when we're playing together, like rushing coverage, we're a hard team to mess with.
Tim, I know you probably didn't need time to get into it, but
That's
their
when they're at their
ground game
best,
when it gets
man.
going
When
is
the
very
rush and the
good.
coverage
This is a
is
core
in sync,
principle how
and they have a
important it is for you
lead.
guys to
They know
control.
what we gonna do. James, hey, what up, James? I know I'm gonna talk to my boy for the game, but you
This is him talking smack to James Cook.
Tim, I know you probably didn't need time to get into it, but their ground game when it gets going is very good. This is a core principle how important it is for you guys to
they know
control.
what we gonna do. James, hey, what up, James? I know I'm gonna talk to my boy for the game, but you know, we hitting this week. You know, we know they're gonna try to run the ball, and we're gonna try to stop the run. So let the runsmen run. We're gonna see how this goes, but we definitely know they're gonna try to come here and run. They got a dynamic running back. I feel like he adds to their team, their offense. He makes them explosive. He's good in the pass, but we're gonna hit him. We're gonna flip him. So I mean, it's all love though. We're gonna hit you and flip you, James.
James, your guy?
Yeah, that's my brother, man. That's day one. I mean, it was probably closest when I was in Buffalo. So it's all love from me to him.
How much swag do you guys have as a defense, just taking the field, knowing you're the number one, and how much pride do you take in other teams looking at you, being like, "Damn, like we gotta go."
We really go out there like we trying to get a turnover for real, man. It's not even about having no swag. It's like who gonna make this turnover? Who gonna make this play? Who going like? And it's kind of like because every week you just don't know who's gonna be the defensive guy. Like it could be anybody. Anybody can have a game. Anybody can have a game-changing game. Anybody can have an iconic game. So it's kind of like mine's is coming too. I know y'all ain't. Mine ain't coming. I'm in the trenches. I'm thugging it out. It's coming though. It might be this game. Lock in. It might be this game. Player of the game. We might call it early.
So Tim said I'll call it his shot that he's going to have a play that perhaps elevates him to get a game ball and be defensive player of the game against the Bills. And I think that'd be a welcome sight if he got his hands on a ball and was able to recover something, maybe even return it for 6, a little scoopy score. That would be what's up. So this is what they got to do. I mean, Josh Allen had himself a day. Again, who did they play? The Buccaneers. 6 total touchdowns. This dude does absolutely everything. That's why it was so impressive what they were able to do last year against him. But remember, the Bills were severely banged up offensively in that game. It don't matter. I don't care. When you play some of the best teams, you don't make apologies. You don't make apologies for any win in the NFL, but you certainly dive in to what's working, what's not working, what has to get fixed, and where did things go wrong. When you beat a team like the Titans in the manner in which they did, the first thing you do after every game, after every week, what an NFL team does, what coaching staff does, they go out and they find like some of the good stuff. Sure, you want to always highlight that, but what you do first is find all the things they did wrong. How do you get better? How do you grow? And when I talk about this stuff on X, so many fans get so butthurt. So like, if you got a problem with calling a spade, it's not just a win. Like, you got to dive in. You got to figure out who's playing well, who to play where, who can do what, how do we get better? Because the Titans aren't the standard. The Titans are not who you're going to be playing in the playoffs. You're going to be playing significantly better teams. And every good team that has a good offense, good defense, the Texans have lost to this year. Every team that's in that negative side of the EPA on defense and offense, they have beaten. So they have beaten the bad teams. They have not beaten the good teams. You want to be getting ready for the playoffs and being able to beat those good teams come playoff time. That's the goal. You want to hit your stride full speed when you get to that time. And here's Kamar Lassiter talking about this defense and talking about the fact that they still got to work on getting better in certain situations, even as the defense, even though they are the best defense in the NFL.
He can do it all. So, I mean, just preparing for him, you have to be on the details of every play. You have to make sure that you're on the details after the play. You know, like after the play call, you know, whatever the play is, he's going to extend that play as well. So being able to have that extra effort as well.
What allowed you guys to be successful last time when you look back at a year ago? Obviously, it's a new season, but still, that game plan worked.
Last year, we just went out there and we just executed the game plan, played as one. Just tried to go out there and just make things, you know, just a little bit more difficult for them. And I feel like we just have to go out there and play as one this year.
Have you
How would
learned
you
it?
describe just trying to get your body ready? I think it's hard for fans to understand what an NFL game can do to you, and then trying to turn around and get it done to get ready.
Yeah, definitely a quick turnaround, but I mean, that's the name of the game. I mean, so just kind of preparing, just doing a little bit more, kind of getting in yesterday after the game, going to do a little bit extra treatment, getting your body back right, because it's such a quick turnaround. Like, you don't really have that the same amount of time that you would going in Sunday, since it's on Thursday. So just doing a little bit extra, whether it's a little extra massage or it's like, getting in the cold tub for a little bit longer, just something, a little bit extra.
Is it to that point? Is there anything you can't do that you normally get to do because of the short week?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say there's anything you can't do. I just feel like you have to find time to make sure that you do everything. Everything just has to be like on a more specific time scale. Now that you know the time is like shorter, just make sure that you get your regular routine in just quicker.
Mark, you're the top-ranked defense, and it's been that way for a while with scoring, yards. Why do you, in your opinion, think you guys have achieved these statistical milestones?
I feel like we have the number one defense because we don't care about having the number one defense. I feel like that's probably the main reason. I mean, we go out here, we work.
Y'all catch that?
We're not the number one defense. I feel like
he was asked, why do they think they have the number one defense? And he said, we have the number one defense because we don't care about having the number one defense.
We have the number one defense because we don't care about having the number one defense. I feel like that's probably the main reason. I mean, we go out here, we work like we're not the number one defense. Like whenever we're going to this meeting, we're about to go over all the things that we just went wrong, and we're not going.
Hear that? He's about to go to a meeting after media time. They've got meetings. They got team meetings. Defensive guys go to the defensive side of the building. They go in their position rooms and they all watch film, either as a team or as a position group. And when they do that, they talk about all the things they did wrong so they can get better. So when y'all think that we're being negative in the media, or D'Amico says we're being negative in the media, we're not being negative. We're doing exactly what you're doing as a coaching staff, and you're doing everything you need to do in order to get better. You point out the flaws. Also, we all know the defense is damn good and they're the best in the NFL. The issue is the offense right now. And this is the defense, the best defense in the NFL, saying there are still things to work on. So you would think people understand there are things on the offensive side of the ball to work on too.
Like we're not the number one defense. Like whenever we defense because we don't care about having the number one defense. I feel like that's probably the main reason. I mean, we go out here, we work like we're not the number one defense. Like whenever we're going to this meeting, we're about to go over all the things that we just went wrong. And we're not going, it's not going to be too many highlights being played. It's going to be, what happened on this play? Or what happened on this play? How can we get this play off our tape? And I feel like with that mentality, that's why we'll continue to get better. And then the guys that we have in the room, everyone just wants to get better.
So not a lot of pat on the backs type of mentality around here, kind of
Who leads
a little bit?
Who leads that mentality? How do you instill that with a group of men?
I feel like the thing is like it's like player-led, you know? Like, I feel like every guy in the position group, like every position group feels the same way, and the coaches feel the same way. So it's like whenever the coaches and the players are already have the same mindset of like, oh, we want to be the greatest, it's not much that you have to say. Like, there's not much that I have to say to anybody on the defense to get them ready. They don't need a speech to get ready for the game because they're working right now to get ready. So it's like, I don't feel like that's the good thing about our defense, that we have leaders on the team and on the defense, but everyone feeds off everyone.
Those are also the best teams of any sport when it's player-led. Yeah, the coaches set the standard, but the players hold that standard. And we've talked about this for a long time with the Astros because a lot of players have come in and out of that organization that were leaders. But it's player-led. Like Joe Espada comes in as the new manager, and Jose Altuve is there. Alex Bregman was there when Carlos Correa left, and when Kyle Tucker leaves. Like, there's guys in that building. The best teams are always player-led because the coaches have to waste their damn time telling you what the expectation is versus installing the game plans and going through things of how to get technically sound and technically better and how to execute your job better. If they're trying to teach you in week 10 or week 11 how to be bought in mentally, forget about it. Like, you just don't have a good team if that's what you're teaching this late in the season. That's another reason why this Texans defense is so good, why they're the best in the league, because they all buy in. They all have that mental makeup of that we know the standard and we're going to hold each other accountable for the standard. And if you don't, you are gone. Just like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He did not want to hold up that standard. He was not there for the other 10 guys on the field. He was here for himself. And that's what happens. And that's what happens when you have a standard that is player-led and player-driven.
I know different position, but Sheldon Rankins kind of holds a special place inside this locker room. How would you describe just kind of the leadership role that he plays, the mentor role that he plays for him?
Questions about Sheldon Rankins.
Rank, I mean, since he's been on the team, he's been nothing but like a light to the team. I mean, he goes out there, he plays hard, plays fast, he's cool in the locker room. Like, I mean, we're always making jokes. I mean, he's just good to be around. D-line loves him. Just a great addition to our team, man. I love it.
Nice.
All right, so another good one from Kamari Lassiter. I'm telling you, these guys, it sounds like they have rehearsed talking points because they all say pretty much the same thing when asked about this defense and what makes them great. And I think that's what makes them great, is that they're not rehearsed talking points. It's inherent. It's in them. It's who they are. It's their identity. And when that is your identity, that's when you see something that is so good like this defense. And that's why, again, we're seeing so much struggle with the offense. Every time first of all, you can't ask the question to the offense, what makes you guys so great? Because we know they're not. They're one of the worst offenses in the NFL. But when we ask them what their identity is, there isn't an answer. That's part of the reason they struggle. There's also a lack of talent on the offensive side of the ball, as we've talked about several times. And now they're dealing with injuries. So they've got a lot going against them right now. That doesn't mean that they can't win this weekend against the Bills. This is one of those measuring stick games, though. See where you stack up against one of the better teams that's also proven to be beatable. The Bills have proven that they can be beat against teams like the Dolphins, who, by the way, Mike McDaniel, I don't know if he wants to get fired or not. He won, but almost won by accident against them in that Madrid game. I don't know if y'all watched that morning game. Why are you not kicking the field goal? Why are you calling timeouts inside 2 minutes and not kicking the field goal on 4th down to get the lead? It doesn't make any sense. You're going up against the Commanders and Marcus Mariota. It's not the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in January. I don't understand that decision. And it didn't make any damn sense. That game went to overtime. They ended up winning, but not because I thought they made the right decisions. All right, so someone asks, I don't understand why they haven't fired the OC. Because who else is going to be the OC? No, there's no one else to be the OC. They didn't set themselves up in a situation where they had like a failed head coach or somebody that had called plays in the NFL that has a long history of doing so in this league. And that was my biggest knock. So I didn't have anybody in there to help Nick Caley. Someone that didn't really want to be an OC necessarily, but wanted to be an assistant offensive coach and had some answers for Caley. And Nick Caley's got his struggles. Nick Caley's got his problems. He also has some outs with the fact that this offensive line has been an issue all season long and that they did not build the offensive line the way they should have in the offseason. D'Amico Ryan's talked today. One thing he talked about is Jalen Noll. Says the same thing as always. He wants to see more Jalen Noll. We all do. You're the head coach. You can make that happen. Here's that. All smiles on this Victory Monday.
Fire away, Ms. Kim.
Any injury updates? I know it's a short week, so weird.
Yeah, with the short week, just the update as of right now. CJ and Jalen are still in the concussion protocol. I think it's looking good to have Kaimi back this week, so we'll see how that goes. And with CJ and Jalen, we'll kind of, again, we got to see how the week goes. When they're in their concussion protocol, there are steps they have to pass to be available. So we'll see how it goes for them this week.
How do you handle that with it being such a short week and, say, CJ not having played, been able to practice in a couple of weeks? You obviously want him healthy, but he gets healthy.
Jalen Petrie, by the way, if he can play, huge addition for the Texans. Doesn't look like he will, but it would be huge.
Yeah, look, we're hopeful for CJ to get back healthy. That's the first thing, the most important thing. And for me and my spot, I just have to deal with it based on when they pass the steps they need to pass. And if they are available, then being able to see them on the field, see them get reps and see how that goes. But as of right now, it's kind of nothing, that I can do, from my seat here. I'm just praying for those guys to just get back healthy.
What do you think about the Bills, especially after their offensive performance yesterday?
Bills are a really, really good team. Coach McDermott has done a great job. Since he's been there, they're always a contender. Play great defense. Of course, they have a great quarterback and Josh Allen who can make any type of play you need him to make. So it's a challenging opponent coming up this Thursday for us. We're up for the challenge as always, as every opponent. So we're looking forward to it. done a really good job. They go front running the football, and Josh can move around and make those plays. You have to cover him twice for sure, with his scramble ability, and also he's done a good job of mixing up some QB run game as well. He does a good job of that, escaping the pocket, making plays, and we have to do a much better job defensively of controlling that because we've let a few plays get out on us when we allowed the quarterback to scramble. So it'll be a really big challenge for us defensively. The offensive side for us, they're fast defense. I mean, they run, they hit, they play fast, they play physical, they're sound in their assignments. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. Not a ton of bust on their tape. They play together, they play fast. So we have to do a good job of trying to sustain drives as best we can. Winning on third down will be key for us. We didn't do a great job on third down this past week, so that'll be key. Third down, and then we have to finish drives. In the red zone hasn't been great for us on both sides, so we got to do a great job of finishing drives defensively and offensively in the red zone.
What have you learned over the years about how to approach this short week for Thursday night games?
Yeah, with the short week is, for me, what I've learned most is don't talk about how much of a short week it is. Like everybody goes in, it's a short week, get it. Like, let's wrap it up and let's go. Like, everybody has the same amount of time. Like, let's do what we have to do to go out and have ourselves physically and mentally prepared to go play.
Touch on the even more to that, you really got to listen to the players. Not that you don't listen to the players regularly, you do, but even more so this week. If a player is at all sore, at all needs extra treatment, like, treatment is king this week. Treatment is more important than a lot of practice time you're going to get this week. I mean, you got to spend a lot of extra time in the building this week for the Texans and the Bills on the other side of the ball to have that turnaround from Sunday to Thursday. It's so bad for players. It's not health driven. For a league that says they care about players' health, you wouldn't have Thursday night football. So you really got to listen to the players this week and what they need, what they tell you they need from the trainers and from a rest standpoint to get ready for Thursday.
Chemistry last couple of weeks with Davis and with Nico, like 16 catches, something like that, a bunch of targets, and how that connection is really up.
Yeah, Davis and Nico, they've done it before and they continue to do it. They're doing a good job. Davis is doing a good job of finding the right guy, throw it down there to 12, and he's going to make a big play for us. Those guys are doing a really great job, and it's no bigger play than the 3rd and 16. I mean, the play that Nico makes, the catch, to be able to get both feet down, it's an outstanding play. Great job by Davis of giving him opportunity to finish that play in bounds. So, when we needed a spark, we needed to get going. Like, we started to feed the ball to our best player, Nico, and he showed up and showed why he's one of the best receivers in the league.
Coach, what have you seen from Dalton Schultz as far as the grit and determination that he played through? And I think that on that last drive that you all had for the game-winning field goal, he made a big catch, but he also made a big block on Simmons on that 3rd and 16 to be able to help Nico get that catch.
Yeah, Dalton continues to play really great football for us. To get the drive started there in the 2-minute, that was a huge play in the 2-minute drive that doesn't get talked about a lot, but that was big for us to get going. And he's made play after play for us. Each game, Dalton shows up in the critical moments, making plays, and he's fighting through, as everybody is at this time, fighting through injuries and things of that nature, but he continues to scrap. He continues to battle. Like, it's important to him to go out and play his best for his teammates, and he shows that. He puts it on the line every single week, and I'm proud of the toughness and grit that he's showing.
He's been awesome this year.
Primarily Woody Marks as the ball carrier for the offense. What did you make of his performance, and what created some of the challenges in the run game yesterday?
Hey, the challenges in the run game are Sweat and Simmons. Those are it's tough to run against those guys, and we had our hands full. We knew that going in, but we were able to churn out some yardage here and there. I mean, we didn't hit a ton of explosive in the run game, but I thought we, for the most part, we did okay. Still some yards to be had out there. We can do an even better job of finishing some blocks and running it better.
I know Will's been a great player for you guys since he got here, but what do you think about this current stretch he's on where he seems to make these huge plays like every single week?
Let's keep it going, Will. He's doing a fantastic job of just not only disrupting the quarterback, but being in position to get the quarterback down, to take the football, making game-changing plays. That's who Will Anderson is, and we hope that streak continues.
You mentioned it a minute ago about the red zone, and maybe even goal to go. Defensively, been so good everywhere else on the field, just not nearly as good in the red zone and goal to go. Is there anything you're seeing from your defense that isn't getting done there beyond the results?
Defensively in the red zone, we got to make the play.
See, this is one of those situations where people want to say, oh, you're being so negative. Listen, man, D'Amico talked about the fact before this question that they got to be better in the red zone on both sides of the ball. We can all see the stats that there are issues there. You want to fine tune, especially when you're on a short week, going up against a really good team. You want to get better on both sides of the ball, and that's how you do it. It's not being overly critical or negative. It just is what it is. Every team does this in every sport in the history of competition.
We got to be where we're supposed to be, and we have to make the play. That's it in the red zone. Like, there's no other way around it. I always tell our guys at any given point in the game, like, you're going to have a one-on-one opportunity, and it's your job to go make the play. When you're in position, like, you have to finish and make the play. We've been there a lot of times in the red zone defensively, and we have not made the play. So we got to get on the right side of that, right? We got to just finish better.
Nico, when it comes to assignment football and Josh Allen and some of the multidimensional things he does, what are some good rules of thumb, best practices when you play a guy like that? And last year,
you have to be super disciplined this week.
When you're playing against Josh Allen, everybody just has to remain disciplined, like, especially as we're rushing our rush lanes. Everybody just has to rush with integrity, understand this quarterback can escape the pocket anywhere. So you just have to have awareness and remain disciplined for 4 quarters, right? If you get out of a gap, if you fall asleep on a play, you're not playing with awareness. Like, that's when he can gut you. So you just have to play with awareness for 4 quarters. You can never let up.
Coach, when you go through the game plan preparing for a team, how do you, on the offensive side of the ball, think about how many plays this player is going to get? Use, for an example, Jalen Noel, who a couple of weeks ago had a lot of targets, had a lot of routes, and then, we've seen, I think, over the last 2 weeks, his targets and routes have decreased. How do you all game plan for that to get him more involved?
Yeah, look, I want Jalen Noel in there more, getting more opportunities. Sometimes how the game goes, whether it's run plays, we have different personnel groupings for different plays that we're running. So it just also depends on the flow of the game, right? And of course, everybody wants him in more. We want this guy in more. We understand that. Like, we're trying to get many guys opportunities as we can, and that's a good problem to have. We have a lot of good guys in that receiver room that can go and make plays for us and that have shown that they can make plays for us at any given moment of the game.
How did you feel about this offensive line combination yesterday?
I thought the offensive line did a good job. I thought they did a good job, and, for the first time having that group out there, they worked well together and did some really good things.
Update on Daniil Hunter coming out of the game?
Yeah, Daniil is fine.
How do you feel about the operation at this point in the season between you and the communicating that you're getting from the people to determine when to throw your challenge flag?
It's been good. The one that we challenged there, of course, the guy didn't. Looking back at it, we didn't complete the catch through. We didn't survive the ground. So looking back at it, probably shouldn't have thrown it. But I feel like the guys saw something that I didn't see up top, and that's why in the first half there, it's not like we're lose a timeout. It's not as big of a deal as it would be. You said, say, in the second half when the timeouts are very critical.
We talk a lot about, obviously, Daniil and Will, understandably, but can you talk a little bit about just the continued play of Toya and what you're getting from him?
Yeah, Tommy, man, our most consistent player inside. Like, he makes play after play, whether it's run game, the awareness, him. If we have to send him on the field late to go battle pass down, he can do that as well. But Tommy's he's consistent because he does it right. He does exactly what we're asking him to do. It may not be flashy to a lot of people, but consistency is what I'm about. And that's what makes a good professional football player. It's the consistency at which you operate down in and down out, and you know what to expect. You know what you're going to get from Tommy, and he shows up every week making big play after big play for us.
Closed out wins the past 2 weeks in kind of the final moments of these games. What effects can wins like that have on a football team?
Well, when you have wins like that, you would like to hope that it would, continue to spark some confidence in our guys and continue to help us to push forward. But as I know, I'm just a realist. Like, each game is its own game. Like, you got to go out and do the things necessary that it takes to win those games. There isn't any magical elixir that comes out like, oh, you guys finished because this certain thing happened. No, you just
Gives
got to
you
go
confidence.
finish games. You got to execute the right way. You got to make plays in those critical moments.
Former Astros manager Dusty Baker, when we asked him about watching the standings, he said, yes, I watch them every day. I look at the standings every day. Is that something that you do as well with the way that your team is playing, getting back to 500, seeing, where you're positioned in the AFC?
Just find a way to win. Those standings really doesn't matter, right now at this point. Like, what matters is however the standings look, I know what improves the standings is winning. So my focus is on doing everything I can possibly do to help our team be in position to win this game this week. And the standings and all those things, they will take care of themselves. All right, thank you, guys.
All right, another good day with D'Amico Ryans. Here are, I'm going to make this bigger. This is I'm looking at the right side of the screen where it shows QB pressure percentage and QB pressures, those two right columns. QB pressures were 13 allowed against the Titans. It's actually the same exact numbers from a percentage and pressure rate as the Broncos game. 27.7% against the Titans this weekend, so it was significantly better than what they put up against the Jaguars. And obviously getting Titus Howard back helped, and I'm sure they cleaned up a couple things, but they've had some pretty good games this season. They've been a lot better than last year than what they put on tape in regards to pressure rate allowed and QB pressures. The offensive line, we know they've had their struggles. We know they haven't been very good, creating that push when needed the most, particularly against the Broncos in the 1 yard line, in the red zone in general. I think they have 2 rushing touchdowns inside the 3 yard line all season long, the fewest in the NFL. I believe that's the right number. So D'Amico says that they can't look at the standings. Well, guess what, D'Amico? We can. So I showed it earlier to you. I'll show it to you one more time. As of now, they are the 8th team in the AFC. They own the tiebreaker against the Chiefs at this point due to the teams that you've played. Yeah, wins tiebreaker over Kansas City based on best win percentage in conference games. So that's going to be a moot point, though, because once they play, the head-to-head will usurp that tiebreaker. So whoever wins that game will own the tiebreaker. And that game is huge because of that, because both teams are 5-5. Who knows where the Chiefs are going to be when we get there, because the Texans got to take on the Bills and the Colts beforehand. Let's see who the Chiefs have this week and next week, because that obviously will determine quite a bit. They got the Colts and then the Cowboys at Dallas. That's on a short week. That's not going to be an easy game for the Chiefs because Dallas is able to score with the best of them on a short week coming off of that Colts game. That's going to be a tough stretch for them. So not an easy stretch for the Colts. For the Chiefs. With the Colts, Cowboys, Texans, and Chargers should be an easier game for them at home. And then at Tennessee, easy. Denver at home, obviously not easy, but I can't imagine they're going to get swept by Denver this season, especially with that game being at Arrowhead. And then they go to Vegas. Should be an easy win for them if they need that win going into the final game of the season, which I'm sure they will be, because no one at 5-5 is going to be running away with anything at this point. So appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Appreciate everybody that has watched. This defense is so freaking good, man. It's fun to watch the defense. If they can get some help offensively, it's going to be fun. And this game is going to be a blast. Ideally, the way it's built. I hate that this is on a short week, honestly. I love that it's in Houston because that's when you really see the Texans play their best defense. The offense doesn't really matter if they're home or away. They struggle with the same kind of stuff. But the Bills' offense, second best in the NFL when it comes to yardage, third best when it comes to points and rushing. They are the best rushing team in the NFL in yards per game. And then the Texans' defense, best in the NFL yards allowed, best in the NFL points allowed, third best in rushing yardage allowed per game with less than 100 yards, 87 yards per game. The Bills are putting up 147 yards. So something's going to have to give there. Something's going to have to give in this game. And I've talked about it several times throughout the season. Good teams are good teams. It's not defense wins championships. I hate that crap. Okay, you can outscore everybody and still win games, but the best teams play complementary football. The Texans need their offense to help them to win this game against a good Bills team. You're not going to win this game by scoring 13 points. The Bills offense is that good. Now, maybe the defense puts up another historical game, and maybe this proves to be one of the best defenses in the history of the NFL. I don't know that we're going to get there because the offense doesn't allow them to be that type of good, but I thought that they could be the best in the NFL if they got just enough help from the offense. They really haven't gotten it. And at times, they haven't even gotten it from the special teams. I mean, they won that game against the Jaguars in spite of the offense and special teams. The defense has been so freaking good. So you would love to see them be able to put up some more points and do their job to help this team compete against the best in the NFL. All right, if you haven't, I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel, Kicking It with Kunkel on YouTube. Get involved with the chat below in the comment section. Like the video as well. If you're on Facebook or if you're on X, please head on over to YouTube and help me out. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I posted from the locker room there as well, including a funny conversation I had with someone else outside the locker room about something. Go on over to see my shorts for that. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in.